We're gathered here today to join Mike and Jill in holy matrimony.
So they may file jointly this tax season.
And you are?
April from TaxAct, the tax filing software with the expert guidance to help you file for less and get more.
Works for me. So, Mike, do you take this woman to love, honor, and get her a maximum refund?
I do.
Jill?
Ditto.
I now pronounce you married, filing jointly.
I always cry at filing status updates. Switch to TaxAct today and start for free.
Restrictions apply. Price at filing subject to change. See taxact.com for details.
Now extended through January 14th, join a clean and spacious Planet Fitness for zero enrollment and only $10 a month. With tons of equipment and free fitness training, it's the perfect place for everybody to work out.
Even me, mister. I'm so stressed I grind my teeth more than most people grind coffee.
Especially you. Give your anxiety-clenched jaw a rest.
My molars will be so happy.
Start feeling fit-tacular today. Join in-club or at planetfitness.com. Zero enrollment, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends January 14th. See club for details.
Hey everybody, welcome to the penultimate edition of our, 6-part live stream. Today's episode will feature discussions about Jack Sawyer, the Ohio State linebackers, the impact of the transfer portal, Jackson Smith and Jigba and Marvin Harrison, talking a little bit of the legacy of DeMario McCall, the legend of DeMario McCall, and possibly the future of Ohio State secondary coach / former defensive coordinator Kerry Combs. So give it a listen, and we'll talk to you in a bit.
Doug Lindsay sent us a super chat. Not even a question, just a super chat. So thank you, Doug. We appreciate that. Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, geez. There's a question. Or is that just
it is
a question.
There's his question. So there it is. GERD plus or minus 10 bottles of ketchup in 2022.
Well, Tom, I am also a person where I'm not. Once the ketchup becomes a pain to get out in terms of there's not a consistent squeeze, it's time to get a new bottle. Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of do you get the biggest bottle or the kind that has to fit on where you put your gallon of milk, like that part of the fridge, because it's such a big bottle, then that'll last at least a week. Or if you just get the smaller bottle, the real key is whenever you just go to a fast food place or whatever, just grab as much ketchup as you possibly can. That way, when you do run out, you've got ketchup packets. However, the danger with that, Tom, is if you don't actually get through those, you don't know when they were made. Now, some may have some dates and some numbers, but you don't know necessarily what those numbers mean. It can get a little hinky, a little dangerous. It should be fine. But do you want to take that chance now?
I've got to say, I don't think I've ever thought about ketchup going bad before.
Do you want that to happen to you? Do you want to experience that?
This feels like a purely theoretical exercise. There's a lot of vinegar and stuff in there. I don't know that ketchup can actually go bad.
It can be not as good as it was on its first day, or second day, or 370th day.
That's why I always buy fresh ketchup at the store.
That's why I make my own.
Exactly. Yes. Ketchup guru GERD. Write that down for your off season. Cooking with GERD. How to make your own ketchup.
Tomatoes.
Hummus Hero says maybe Sawyer shouldn't bulk up and should just play middle linebacker. Think Andy Katzenmoyer. I think he's a little big for that. He might be a little bit.
Well, by the time Andy Katzenmoyer was a sophomore and junior, he was pushing 260 pounds, but he was too big to do that.
He was too big, yeah.
And it showed in his play. But no, the most I could see from him is being a Sam like a Cade Stover. Mm-hmm. But the reason they moved Cade Stover to defensive end is because he was going to eventually be too big for linebacker. And is Jack Sawyer a 3-4 outside linebacker at the next level? Probably. But he's also a guy who can eventually be 265 pounds, and then he's fine. So middle linebacker, that's an issue for Ohio State that is probably an entirely separate conversation. Is it Cody Simon? Is it Tommy Eichenberg? Where is Mitchell Melton in all of this? Mm-hmm. Steel Chambers kind of, I don't want to say he disappeared over the last half of the season. And again, he's a will linebacker, but there are still some major questions because Tommy Eichenberg finished very strongly, got better as the season went on. I know a lot of people are only going to see the bad from him, and it's going to be hard for them to give up on their tough Borland comparisons but the dude was pretty good in this Rose Bowl and will be better next year. But there's going to be a lot yet to do because it was Cody Simon who started almost all year long, but it was Tommy Eichenberg who kind of got his minutes as the season went on, but Cody Simon was injured.
Right.
So is a healthy Cody Simon better than a healthy Tommy Eichenberg? The coaches think so, but we haven't seen – there was never one moment this season where you're like, whoa, Cody Simon. Like, this dude is going to be good. And, that's probably not unexpected if you have a bad shoulder all year long and you're a linebacker and he doesn't wow you and you're like, you can't expect to be blown away by somebody playing injured in the most physical sport there is outside of soccer.
There it is. The worst take you'll have in 2022. I think
Get it out of the way.
I think that's an important point that you raised there about Cody Simon, where there are going to be people who write him off as this guy's terrible. I just saw it for a whole year. He's a bum. If you're playing hurt, sometimes you're going to not look you're going to not look fantastic. It's like what do these coaches see in this guy? Well, he might look different when he's healthy, and they've seen him healthy, and you haven't seen him healthy. So Mitchell Melton is another name that's like, where does he fit in this defense? Because he's just been out all year. There's a lot of guys who have been out, from so early in camp. Tyler Friday, I think people have completely forgotten that Tyler Friday's on the team. You have all of these guys, and I'm going to be so interested to see how they fit these guys all together and who slots in where, because there's a lot of question about who's coming back. Anyone who's not a guaranteed starter is people are going to wonder, are they going to transfer? And there's just so many questions that are going to get sorted out kind of over the next week or next month, let's say, and then you go into spring ball. And then a bunch more questions get sorted out then. And then you're probably going to have another little shuffle on the roster after spring ball, as you kind of always do. So, yeah, it is going to be the roster flux in college football has turned this into more of a year-round sport. It's like people talk about the NBA offseason being more entertaining than the NBA season. Like, you're not going to quite get there with college football, but it is turning into much more of a year-round sport than it used to be.
You've got 2 signing days. Mm-hmm. You've got the transfer portal after the season. You've got the transfer portal after spring. Like, it's the only time there is no college football is, I don't know, July. Mm-hmm. And that's when coaches are on vacation.
That's when media day is.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
Yeah. I generally plan on taking my family vacation the week after the 4th of July because it's like, well, things are about to get real with football, so we'll go hang out for a week, and then I'll see you guys in January. From Bucknut0730, thank you for your super chat. Who leads in touchdowns in 2022, Harrison Jr. or Jackson Smith-Njigba? I'm assuming this is only wide receivers.
Yeah, because you look at what Jackson Smith-Njigba did this season. The one thing he did not do is catch a lot of touchdowns. Mm-hmm. 9 is a lot, but compared to Chris Olave's 13 in 12 games, compared to Garrett Wilson's 12 and 11 games, this is a situation where if Jackson Smith-Njigba stays in the slot, and I think you're crazy to move him, that's just my opinion. I think he stays there, and Emeka Egbuka can play somewhere else. However, Tom, I know you're going to say, but imagine Emeka Egbuka in the slot, and that's a convincing argument. I'm going to agree with you there. It's just like with the whole slot thing, it's like you're putting somebody in the absolute best position to succeed, and it's like, don't you want as many people in that role as you can slide in there? And then you look at what Emeka Egbuka can do, and you're like, oh, yeah, I agree. Like Garrett Wilson, I agree. Jackson Smith-Njigba, I agree. Emeka Egbuka, sure, I agree. But to answer the question, am I going to be shocked if Marvin Harrison has more touchdown catches than Jackson Smith-Njigba next year? Absolutely not. And that's with Jackson Smith-Njigba possibly having 40 more catches than Marvin Harrison last year, because or next year. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the kind of guy that, you know how there are some running backs who are goal line backs, like this is your touchdown vulture?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Marvin Harrison Jr. can be a touchdown vulture inside the red zone, and just very, very simple, big target, wide range as opposed to Jackson Smith-Njigba, who you have to throw right on the numbers for him to catch the ball.
Yeah, Jackson Smith-Njigba, famously small catch radius. Yes. I think it may be instructive that they had the same number of touchdowns in the Rose Bowl, despite the fact that Jackson Smith-Njigba had like 2.5 times as many receptions. Jackson Smith-Njigba, when he scored touchdowns, they were
52 yards,
52
50
and
yards.
50 and 30 or something like that. And Marvin Harrison was a little bit more of a red zone touchdown threat. That I think you're probably gonna see Jackson Smith-Njigba with double the receptions, double the receiving yards, and not as many touchdowns.
Yeah, it's crazy. Tom, did you happen to see my tweet about Jackson Smith-Njigba's last 5 games?
No, I have you blocked.
I know. That's why I was mainly saying that for everybody watching and listening. Over the last 5 games, 60 catches. I believe 958 yards.
That's a good season. How many games is that?
That was 5 games, and it was good for the 11th most receiving yards in Ohio State history. It would be top 10, Tom, if not for Jackson Smith-Njigba's 1,606 yards receiving this year. Just the last 5 games would have put him in the top 10. That dude is ridiculous. And we haven't said that enough on this show because we spent an hour saying it on yesterday's show. That guy is absolutely legit. And I'm glad we were saying it from day one of spring of 2020. Look at us.
Calling all partners. Losing weight is better together with Nutrisystem's Partner Plan. In fact, people who diet together lose 20% more weight than dieting on their own. Get new premium meals with up to 30 grams of protein. They're big and filling and taste delicious. Plus, try our new restaurant faves that taste like your favorite restaurant, portioned with half the calories. Don't wait. You could win big cash during Nutrisystem's Better Together Partner Plan $100K giveaway. And maybe win the grand prize of $25,000. Just go to Nutrisystem.com/thin right now and get 50% off plus an extra $50 off your first month. You heard me right. Go to Nutrisystem.com/thin right now and get 50% off plus an extra $50 off. Don't wait. This partner plan offer will not last long. Just go to Nutrisystem.com/thin right now and get 50% off plus an extra $50 off. Go to Nutrisystem.com/thin. See website for details on our 2-month subscription offer. No purchase necessary. Open only to U.S. residents over 21. Void where prohibited. Runs December 25 through April 4th, 2022. For official rules, visit Nutrisystem.com. Sponsored by Nutrisystem, Inc.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Wait a minute. I've heard that before. That's the note Jeremy wrote to me in my yearbook in the 6th grade. How'd you even know that?
Because it's from Geico.
Yeah, wait, here it is. Dear Luke, have a great summer. P.S. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. Love, Jeremy.
Geico's had this tagline for years, because we help save people money.
So wait, you're saying Jeremy copied you? Yeah, that actually does sound like something the J-Man would do.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Vives en Virginia. Si recibiste la vacuna contra COVID-19, sigues estando protegido. Este otoño estaremos poniendo dosis de refuerzo para ayudar a prolongar esa protección. No olvides que el Departamento de Salud de Virginia sigue siendo tu mejor fuente de información sobre el COVID-19. Para saber si puedes recibir la dosis de refuerzo y programar una cita, visita vaccinate.virginia.gov o llama al 877-829-4682. Este es un mensaje del Departamento de Salud de Virginia.
Yeah, go back and listen to the show from it was literally the show right before the world blew up. Yeah. We got to watch one spring practice in 2020 before everything shut down. And my takeaway from that was, boy, I hope nothing else changes because this is going to be an amazing year because that Jackson Smith-Njigba is incredible. That was actually the same practice where Master Teague blew out his Achilles. Yeah. That was an eventful practice.
I think your exact words were, if the world ends today, I've seen enough. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the greatest of all time.
It was along those lines.
It was an awesome performance.
It was
no other way to put it. It was every bit as good as anything we had ever seen Garrett Wilson do in a game or in practice. And it was just one practice of spring for a true freshman
doing spring. Yep.
Ridiculous.
Shane Cupp, thank you for your super chat. What was going on with the clock management on the final drive? Why the timeout at 12 seconds and not at 1 second? And I have, on our post-game show, someone messaged in and said it was actually an injury timeout. And I have found absolutely nothing to substantiate that. We were down on the field. No one saw an injury. it is credited in the box score as a timeout Ohio State.
Yeah.
I swear I remember the PA guy saying timeout Ohio State, or the ref saying timeout Ohio State.
And I talked with the Ozone photographer Dan Harker about this, and he said, no, I saw Ryan Day calling a timeout, like yelling for a timeout on that one.
And I was not in the post-game press conference with Day. We were off talking to individual players outside the locker room, but supposedly Day said that his plan was to throw the ball in the end zone at least once, and then if that didn't work, then you go and kick the field goal after that. But you give C.J. Stroud a chance to throw it in the end zone, and you just basically say, if this guy is not wide open, throw it into the stands. And just trust C.J. Stroud to make a good decision. And your offensive line hasn't given up a sack all day, so you trust your offensive line to pass pro. But that was just, it was like there were 10 different ways you could play that situation, and that was not anywhere on my bingo card. You could, because the previous play ended with 27 seconds or something like that, and Ohio State had one timeout left. It's like you could rush to the line, because that was only first down. You could have rushed to the line and spiked it, and then you could have, then you've got third down where you could run the ball or throw the ball, and then you kick a field goal on fourth down. That would have been a perfectly viable solution. But that's not what they did, and he said he got talked out of it. So then you've left yourself in a spot where, okay, now there's 9 seconds left, and you've got to kick it to the guy who ran it back for a touchdown, and you've got a 3-point lead with 9 seconds left in the game. What could possibly go wrong? And then they kicked it to him. We watched the abridged version of the game on TV on Sunday morning, and Kirk Herbstreit goes, "Well, they're not going to kick it to him." They kicked it to him. It was like, I don't know that's how I would have played that. I asked Noah Ruggles about it after the game, and I said, did you guys talk about, maybe you squib it. Maybe you try, maybe you do the line drive straight into the front line guy's face mask and recover the onside. I mean, you get a million different things. Kick it out of bounds. Like, what do how many different ways do you want to try and play this? And he said, well, they made the decision to do a sky kick. We just, kick it real high and short and just try and get coverage around. And to their credit, it worked. That worked fine. I was behind the end zone, behind Britton Covey as he's running. And all the pictures that I have of that sequence, there are 3 Buckeyes around him. It's just like, remember the game, it was a game where you were Mr. X and you're playing in London, Scotland Yard. Do you remember the game Scotland Yard? Okay, well, it's a game where you're the bad guy and you're moving around London and the detectives are trying to catch you, and like you just get like hemmed in. It's like I can't go left, I can't go right. That was what it reminded me of. You're like stuck there and you there's nowhere to go. They had him hemmed in real well. Did you see who made the tackle on that play?
I did, but I've forgotten since.
Yeah, I mean, Emeka Egbuka's down there. I think someone else is down there. Another starter was down there. And Chris Booker, former OSU club football team, walk-on wide receiver Chris Booker made the
was down there.
Made the game-clinching tackle. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, that was it was not a great moment in game management, I would say, handling it that way. It all worked out, and I feel like we constantly have the process versus results conversation on this show, but it was. I think if Ryan Day had to do it all over again, that's probably not what he would have done. And that is to his credit, because I think if you ask James, if like James Franklin did something nutso like that, I think if you ask James Franklin, I'd do it all again.
Well, I think there could be also 2 factors coming into play here, and I mentioned one of them in the instant reaction show: running out of time in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And Day didn't want to have anything like that happen because you feel like you're an idiot. I'm not saying he's an idiot. I mean, internally, you feel like an idiot, like you've wasted this. Second thing is C.J. Stroud threw an interception in the end zone in that game.
He did.
So you've got those 2 things. Like, you trust C.J. Stroud implicitly. However, you already saw him throw an interception. Do you really want to take that chance again? And once you start weighing that, the cost-benefit analysis, Tom, of that, you're like, you know what, it's 12 seconds. Let's just kick it and go from there. Now, should they have but, maybe as he's analyzing it with the 12 seconds, he's like, you know what, I don't want to throw it. I don't want to do anything else. Don't want to take a sack.
Yeah.
Anything bad can happen right now. Let's take the lead. We have this opportunity. And if they return a kickoff against us, then that's Britton Covey had returned 5 kickoffs all season before this game. So I don't think there's any concern about him. I was looking for the quote, Tom, about that, and I couldn't find it. However, I did find this funny one. It's the first question to him. And it's, Ryan, I know you said that you were telling Jackson don't try to do too much, and they cut him off and said he didn't listen. So that's pretty good on Day's part, and he's absolutely correct. And now, again, as I said last night, or whenever you're listening to this, I said after the game, make that guy run stairs because he did fumble into the end zone.
That's true. Stephen Piper points out the board game New York Chase, which is the poor man's Scotland Yard. Yes, the key difference, and we are a board game household, so I have both of those board games in the closet at my house right at this moment. In Scotland Yard, you could take a boat along the River Thames, but in Scotland Yard, or in New York Chase, you had access to a helicopter.
Oh, really?
Makes me kind of want to be a villain. I want a helicopter. I
think you're very much a villain, just so you know.
Thank you. Treebuck, thank you for your super chat. Sorry if this has already been mentioned, but the video of DeMario at the end of the game was very touching. Thanks, Tony. Let people know what you.
And you can check that out on YouTube. That was immediately after the game. I just shooting the missed field goal, or the kickoff return, and then just watching everybody go out onto the field, and everybody is celebrating, and DeMario McCall is near the area of the kickoff return, and he's just standing by himself, looking up into the stands, just looking up at just soaking it all in. And he was there for 30 seconds, just taking it all in. This is his last game. And so I'm just shooting, and you look around for stuff to see, to shoot, and you see him, and so I focused on him a little bit, and he's just looking, just staring, and then starts to nod and this is it. And I think Tyleik Williams came up to him after that, and it's a guy who has been at Ohio State since 2016. Think of everything that has gone on in his 6 years.
He was the receiver for Joe Burrow's first college touchdown pass. That's it. That's the tweet. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, he's been through a lot. Not a single time in his career, not a single year did things go as planned. So I tweeted out a picture of that, and you've got Johnny Dixon saying never a better teammate. You got Tony Alford saying no better example of being a Buckeye. And he's a guy that the fans always really liked until he had a muffed kickoff against Michigan, but always wanted to see more of. And this is a guy who this year is like, I will play quarter. After 5 years of being moved around between running back and wide receiver, never having a place, and then coming in and is like, where do you need me? I'll do it. I just really love being a Buckeye. And it's something he said before the season. He's like, it would be very difficult to leave. It is very difficult to leave the Brotherhood, and quitting was the easy way out. And nothing about his 6 years at Ohio State was you would call easy, except for maybe his freshman year when he was like the backup running back who got to carry the ball after blowouts were already in session. And I think he had 49 carries as a true freshman, and then never had 49 more carries the rest of his career at Ohio State, or 49 more touches. And this is a guy running back, H-back, then there is no more H-back, and it's just slot, and never ever had a home, but the entire time Ohio State was his home.
Yeah, it was there was always stuff with him, like there was every once in a while you just have this off the field, like, what are you doing, DeMario? Come on, but he is one of those incredibly beloved teammates, and there's a real disconnect between the level of production on the field, what they got out of him, and how beloved he is. Like normally, if the guy doesn't produce on the field, fans want to tell you that he's a bust and he's terrible, and and that was just never the case with DeMario. And it came out after the game that he was the one. Ryan Day at halftime basically told the team, just you guys sort it out. Just he put it on them. You guys, this is your decision how you want to play the second half, and not schematically, but you're down 14 points. You know, I'm sure this was not his exact speech, but this is how I contextualize it in my head.
Can you do it with his
you're down
North New Hampshire accent?
Ironically, Northeast accent. I mean, I could do a Boston, but that's not really the same. Anyway,
Just do it Australian.
Anyway, so basically, you've lost the Michigan game. You didn't get your main goals for the season are out of reach. You're down 14 points. Would you like to quit or would you like to keep playing? That felt like a very turning point moment culturally for the program, because there are, we're going to talk about Northeast. That is the point at which two roads diverged. Robert Frost from the Northeast. Anyway, and they chose
the Grapes of Wrath. No, I'm joking with you. I know that's out west.
The road less taken. Anyway,
less traveled.
Shut up. Anyway, the point is that who was the person that stepped up? Ryan Day basically put it on the players. And who was the player who stepped up on the defensive side of the ball? It's Damari McCall. And I think Bryson Shaw was the person he was asked about it. And he said, like, so what did he say? And he goes, we're going to leave that in the locker room. But before that, he had said, you know how DeMario is. And it's like, so we probably couldn't report this.
The irony, the real irony is Ryan Day streamed it from his IG account.
I have nothing to add that is either relevant or true. There were a lot of people complimenting you in your videos, on your Damari McCall video. I thought personally it was your best work since the Isaiah Prince photo after the
I agree.
game in 2017.
Man, that was when I took that Isaiah Prince and Jamarco Jones picture. Yeah, that was.
If you got that, you have been a podcast listener for a long.
We haven't brought that one out in a while.
No. We also haven't brought out the legendary Damari McCall Rutgers story where we were at the Rutgers game. I was out in the stands. It was like, it's 9 million to 3 or 9. No, it was 9 million to nothing because they kicked the field goal at the end of the game and clanged it to try and get on the board. I think that game ended up 49-0. But it's it's the second half.
58-0.
Oh, 58-0.
As a freshman, 2016,
yes.
Right?
No, 17.
Oh, 17.
And I'm out in the stands and it's like, well, it's cold but like, well, maybe I'll get a good video to post on Twitter or something. And I was messing with my phone for something, and I missed Damari McCall go 50 yards for a touchdown. I was like, well, that was stupid. Won't do that again. And they get the ball again, and they're not nowhere near the red zone, so I'm messing with the phone or tweeting something. And he does it again. He had 2 touchdowns in that game, and I managed to miss both of them, even though I was sitting in the stands specifically to shoot video of him. So that was Tony, it was so long ago I wasn't good at my job. That's how long Damari, like the Joe Burrow stat is fine, but that is how long ago it was.
Seems just like yesterday. But he had a 35-yard touchdown catch, 11 rushes for 103 yards against Rutgers. The year before, 10 for 85 against Rutgers. And did he have any catches? No. But, 49 rush attempts as a true freshman. Do you know how many more he had the rest of his career, Tom?
I will think about it while I also point out that maybe he just had a real vendetta against Chris Ash, because it really sounds like he feels like he had it out for that guy. 49 rush attempts as a freshman. I'm going to say, boy, he didn't have many. I'm going to say 20.
41.
No.
So you were way off. Boy, you really took that question down the road that wasn't nearly as entertaining as we thought it would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, Treebuck says the sad photos of the Cannon team were what I remember from that game. Well, that's pretty much every Rutgers game. If you don't get the sad photos of the Cannon team, what are we even doing here?
That's true.
We're pushing 2.5 hours.
Well, we said we would, or at least internally. How much longer do you want to go, Tom?
Well, that's.
Is it up to them? Well, as we say that.
All right. So Bucknut 0730. Any other rumbling on coaching changes coming? We've talked about that a little bit. I think the short answer is we don't expect this to be a one-off change. Tony, you want to share what you heard about?
So Kerry Combs after the game was asking to have pictures taken with Tony Alford and Mickey Marotti and other guys on the staff. With the way it was presented, looked like he was just wanting some pictures because this was going to be the last time they were all together. So, and when I say they were all together, that I mean Kerry Combs was with them. for the last time, perhaps. That's just the image presented from what I heard, what I was told, and I don't know that means he's done. It's just when you are at situations like this, and you're asked to take pictures of people because this is the last time they're acting like this is the last time they're going to be together. Then maybe read a little into that, like Matt Barnes was with Cam Brown, and they spent a long time together, hugging and talking and stuff like that, and you put the two and two together. That one, the math was already out there. And so that one made sense. But, yeah, that's what a lot of these games are. You look around and see, is anybody more emotional than they should be, Urban Meyer and Shelley Meyer in 2018 after the Michigan game, where that one, you see that and you're like, I wonder if this is the last time Urban Meyer is going to coach in the Michigan game, because it sure seems like they're acting like it is much more different than any other previous game.
Yeah, and I was down on the field shooting pictures, and Cam Brown asked me to shoot a picture of him with Kerry Combs, with other folks, and sometimes guys just want pictures. I mean, Trivian Henderson asked me to get a picture with him with someone else on the field. I got a picture of Jesse Mirko and another Pro Kick Australia people. Like, sometimes guys just want a shot. It's like, hey, get a picture with me and the rose in my mouth or whatever. But that's a you can read into that as much as you want to. I keep saying I think 3 to 4 coaching changes is probably my expectation.
All right, that will do it for part 5 of this stream. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And again, thanks for listening. Thanks for your patience as we get through these next few days and come back next week better and brighter than ever. Thanks.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Wait a minute. I've heard that before. That's the note Jeremy wrote to me in my yearbook in the 6th grade. How'd you even know that?
Because it's from Geico.
Yeah, wait, here it is. Dear Luke, have a great summer. P.S. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. Love, Jeremy.
Geico's had this tagline for years, because we help save people money.
So wait, you're saying Jeremy copied you? Yeah, that actually does sound like something the J-Man would do.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Bread aisle, are you ready to rock? Dave's Killer Bread is the country's #1 organic bread for a reason. Always delivering killer taste, killer texture, and killer nutrition. This isn't bread. This is bread amplified.
Socks are the #1 most requested item in homeless shelters. Underwear is the second. Shirts are third. At Bombas, socks were first. Made with comfortable details for everyday wearing. Then underwear and shirts too. All designed to perfectly fit. At Bombas, every item you purchase means you're donating an essential clothing item to someone in need. One comfortable clothing item for you, one donated to someone in need. Bombas, comfort for all. Get 20% off your purchase at bombas.com/comfy.